Welcome back to Keep Expecting Miracles. I am Ilissa,
And I'm Jessica.
and we're here with another episode. Today, we are continuing our spiritual gifts series with someone who is now a homegirl, friend, sister to our podcast, Sarah Makeba Daise. We are happy to have her back. After she spoke, we interviewed her. We had a conversation with her a couple months ago now, and she
Mhm.
was like, "I want to come back." We're like, "Okay, we want you to come back." And so she's here to discuss the release of her brand new book. And so we're gonna
Yeah.
have a conversation about it. Sankofa Shadow Work, Diaries of a Diasporic Diviner.
Sarah Makeba Daise, M.A., she, her, is a black, queer, fifth generation Gullah Geechee writer, griot, cultural worker, healer, and diviner from Beaufort, South Carolina. She works passionately at the intersections of Afrofuturism, ancestor veneration, intergenerational healing, black queer erotics and desire, and African diasporic rituals, history, and culture, particularly the South. As a writer, Sarah explores these topics through memoir, prose, folklore, and speculative fiction. Daughter of storytellers, culture bearers, and stars of Nick Jr.'s Gullah Gullah Island, Ron and Natalie Days, Sarah's multidisciplinary approach builds on their continuous work of world building, archiving, and affirming Black life. Sarah's acclaimed 2020 essay, Be Here Now, The South is a Portal, published in Rootwork Journal, uplifts the South as a portal for Africana and Indigenous resistance and ways of knowing. Her debut book, Sankofa Shadow Work, Diaries of a Diasporic Diviner, 2025, is a literary cosmogram blending memoir, public history, fabulation, and conjure. Following the life and death cycles of a queer Black diviner, griot, and gatekeeper, the stories invite readers to explore their shadows, center pleasure, and heal backwards and forwards in the face of systemic terror.
So yes. How are you doing, Sarah?
I am so wonderful. Thank y'all so much for having me back. I was like just okay when we just got started, so I'm even better now to be here with y'all. Very pleased. Yeah, and excited to chat. Thank you.
Oh, good. What about you? What about you, Jessica?
Yes.
How are you feeling this morning,
I'm
this
good.
afternoon?
I'm well. Yeah, it is afternoon now. But I'm good. I'm well. Look, the time passes by so fast. Yeah, I'm feeling excited to have you back, Sarah. Like, honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Humbled.
Yes. How are you, Alyssa?
I'm doing okay. I am. I think I'm doing well. I am. There's just a lot going on around me.
Hmm.
Um, just we're about to move, and there's a lot going on. So I'm doing well though. Yes, but we wanted to just catch up and fill everybody in. Like since the last time we spoke to Sarah, I feel like I've lived many lifetimes. I've jumped so many timelines,
Hmm.
Sarah,
Real.
Hmm.
from that conversation.
Hmm.
It's like what is going on? So I've been very, very tired. Sleep has been my like friend, especially because I'm a Taurus and it's Taurus season and I love to sleep right now. So, but I've had to sleep just to process a lot of the things that my eyes have been open to. Um, Jessica and I both read Malidoma Some's, I think his first book of Water and
Ooh,
Spirit.
I love
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's been eye opening, life changing. And then I think the same
Yes.
week you recommended that book, one of my spiritual teachers recommended that my husband and I both read The Spirit of Intimacy
Wow, that's right.
by his wife. So it's like we're both reading that and then I'm reading the other one. I'm just like, oh.
Something's happening.
Hmm.
Yes, a lot was
Wow.
happening. So been just trying to
Hmm.
integrate it. I'm not somebody who can just like learn information and be like, okay. like I really have to sit with it, and like I really do change things.
Yeah.
Um so yeah, what about you,
Yeah,
Jessica?
yeah. Yeah. So I read Of Water and Spirit, blew my mind. I said, these are factual occurrences that he's talking about. Okay. And then, I jumped right in. I was like, let me find out about his wife. So I read Women's Wisdom from the Heart of Africa.
Love it.
Man, I am like, okay, I need to start doing better for myself, for my daughter, so that I can grow her up with a lot of the practices that Sabonfu mentioned in this book. Because like I literally think about her words every single day. Like not a day goes by where I have to remind myself, okay, remember who you are. Remember, it's just what they have written is a reminder, right? And I feel like that's why we have Ilissa and I have taken it in as truth. Like there's a part of us that have known, we've known this is how we should be living, this is how we should be feeling, this is what our practices should be. You aren't crazy for thinking that this plant was just talking to you.
Right.
And so I'm just so grateful for the fact that you mentioned them, and I know that they were also two people who added so much value to your life as well. So I'm grateful.
Thank you. Thank y'all both for sharing. Yeah, I've recognized them both as guides while they were living, and certainly since they transitioned. And I feel like I continue to be illuminated by their work. To the exact point, like, no, this is a real thing that happened. It happened physically and tangibly, and I remind myself of that as well, particularly in this moment, in this chaotic and bizarre moment that we're living in. Like, oh, more is possible than just this.
Exactly. And one thing I know for me, I realized I'm like when I'm doing this work on myself and just making myself feel better here in this lifetime, do better in this lifetime. I recognize and realize I'm not just changing myself. So I'm also changing my children. And so I do feel like it's also helped me become a better mom. And I've had to like recognize like, okay, there is a ripple effect. There's a ripple effect, and it's going everywhere. The people around me have even changed. The way that they communicate with me have changed. It's been eye opening, and yeah, it's been great.
Wow, that's so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yes.
love the reflections that quickly, particularly like the outward, your environment changing as you change. I feel like there have been a few times, yeah, maybe even since we met, that I've had similar occurrences. Like, not only have I changed and the things around me changed, but there's actually more things that I can readjust based on the acknowledgement that some of the things around me have changed.
Mm.
Some of me might still be acting like they haven't changed.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so, yeah, I feel
Yeah.
y'all for 100%.
Oh, you know what? I told Alyssa the other day, I was like, now that we've read his books and like and we know about Maladoma, we know about Sabonfu, I feel like I'm in like some sort of secret society of like the people who know the truth or something. Because I don't remember which actress it was, but there have been many people men and different celebrities and different people that I come across, and they'll mention Maladoma.
Mm,
Had we not have interviewed you, had we not have heard his name, known about his work, and even, brought ourselves to go ahead and start looking into what Maladoma has to offer, we wouldn't know nothing. I would have just went straight past like, what was that? Oh, never mind. Let me just continue. So it's like a whole different reality. A whole,
mhm.
and also it allows me to build trust with those people. Like, oh, they mentioned Maladoma. Okay, I can trust what she's saying or he's saying because they know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'll share.
Yes, yes. We also wanted to share too. This is obviously we are highlighting Black women and the many spiritual gifts. It's not just one, the many spiritual gifts that they are coming here and are here with and operating in. And writing obviously is a spiritual gift, and Sarah has many other ones also. But we Jessica and I realize that every time we interview somebody, whatever we talk to them about is highlighted and illuminated in our life, and it's all connected. It all like connects to each other, and it's just so crazy. I If I wasn't doing this with somebody else, I would think that I was going
Yeah.
insane.
Mm.
Yes.
Especially being, it's so crazy. I'm deconstructing, so I'm a trained mental health therapist. So deconstructing that is like I've been trained in a patriarchal society. Like I went to a white institution. Like I've been like the research that they did were on white families, and that informed the therapy interventions that are taking place. Like I was operating from a place of, oh yeah, I know how to, relate to people, but so I'm, sitting with that myself of just like, oh no, boo boo. There's another way around this. There's another way of being, there's another way of healing. And if you're not considering your ancestors, if you're not considering spirituality and the magic that is within you, then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
So
much missing.
yeah, so the ancestors have been showing up for me. My ancestors have been showing up. Other people's ancestors have been showing up, and I'm just like, I've been able to. Oh, so that's what I was saying. If I was not experiencing this with somebody else, because I have been trained, I remember specifically diagnosing people that hear voices, that see things, that believe that the government is this way, and have just word association. Like they'll say something, and they'll say something else will come out of their mouth. I've been trained to diagnose people with mental illnesses. This stuff that we're talking about, that we're experiencing, is like, I know I'm not, this is not mental illness.
Yeah,
So that has been hard for me.
I can imagine. That's real tender.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So thank God I have somebody else to share this experience. Thank God I am not alone. My ancestors have shown me that I'm not alone and that I am not crazy. Just to believe that, okay, you're crazy if you're experiencing this thing, if you're able to see certain things, shadows, ripples in the air, lights, like whatever it is.
Mm.
Like, I'm not going crazy. Because for some reason, what sticks out of my mind, like because I am in postpartum right now, I know a lot. And the reason why I got out of mental health therapy to go into nursing was to become a midwife, and it's just, women's issues is very prevalent. And so I came across a lot of people that were committed when their children were very young,
Mm.
and it just makes me think, like, were those women actually insane? Were they actually sick?
Right.
What were they experiencing? Did
Mm-hmm.
somebody not care to put a different lens on what was happening?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So this has been very personal to me, and like you said, tender to me. And so that's why I've been sleeping, because I'm processing.
That's big work. Thank you for sharing that. I feel like that, like I said, that feels so tender and it's so necessary and it's so hard. And it's like you can't unknow something once you know. And also, it can still feel more comfortable and familiar to act like you don't know no more, you know? And so it's brave. Deconstructing is very brave, and creating new patterns with yourself is very brave, and it has those ripple effects that y'all are talking about. So personally and broadly, that's so needed right now. Thank you.
Yes, yes. But we wanted to ask you we know that, obviously the book is coming out and the finishing touches are have been done, are being done, and so you've been busy with that. But what revelations or timeline shifts have been happening for you since our last conversation?
So I think certainly in the time in between the time that we were last together, the book has been taking more shape. We are absolutely in the final stages right now. I'm just waiting on the forward, and we can go into production. And I was saying, I think before we started recording, so I've just been reminded a lot of how much the work was for me, for my own saving of my life and survival, and my own questioning if am I losing my mind, or am I significant, or can I hope for anything, and everything was a lie. um and I'm so fucking proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. I think that has been the most of my revelations. Like, oh, you didn't have to do it. You could have given up many, many, many times. And to have acknowledged that, while the scope of the book, there's like 10 years worth of work in writing and pondering, in that nonlinear presentation. And I'm like, nah, I was building frameworks, and the early readers are like, there's a framework, there's a concept. So not only is it just real in my own mind and in my editor's mind, like it's real to other people as well. So that's been a lot to adjust to. I think the last time I was here, I said, I am who I say I am who I think I am.
Yeah.
And even with that, affirmation or declaration, I'll still forget. And I was telling someone recently, I think I have both mastered a performance of self-doubt, and uncertainty about whether or not I am really that girl. And like I have it down to a T. And it's not only that I've mastered it, like some of it is inherited. And those are things that I have been exploring with my family as well. So I think that has been a big acknowledgement as well. It's like, all right, girl, you gotta stop pretending like you don't know what's up. And that feels uncomfortable, because it feels a little more comfortable and familiar to be like, I don't really know, and I'm just happy to be here. But I think as things continue to shift, and now that the work is being seen by more people, there's more conversation. Like, I can't afford to pretend like that, because I will hurt myself and I will be harmed. And I think I'm even more aware of like new boundaries that I have to create, and reinforce, because there's such a fine line, I think, between I'm just happy to be here,
Yeah.
So I think that's what I can think of right now.
Didn't we just talk about that last night, Jessica, when we were preparing for this? I said we cannot doubt ourselves.
Yes. It's so funny because I told Ilissa, what did I, when you just said that you mastered self
Self
doubt?
doubt. That's what it was. That we were talking
Girl.
about that last night.
Look, I told you, I'm like, I told Alyssa, one day, I was like, I need to keep doing my walking meditations, because I'm wearing these goggles, and the goggles are not showing me the truth. The goggles are showing me that the world is out to get me, and it's just like, it's not real. Like, it's showing me that I said there might be a mansion there in real life, right? There might be a mansion, but I'm seeing a little hut. Like, I am seeing lack. I am seeing you're not worthy. I am seeing, you know, and I'm like, I have to clear this out. How do I clear this out? What do I do? And yeah, I don't know why it is that we master this lack of belief in ourselves, and we have to continue coming back and proving. And it's just knowing, believing, trusting and believing, which is something that I'm working with right now personally, that I have to be her first, and then everything else will fall in line. It's just not easy.
It's not easy at all. And just in this moment, as you're saying, like, you don't know why we've mastered it, I'm like, it's because at our full potential, whatever that is, all this shit will blow up and cease to exist. And
Mm-hmm.
so it is, we didn't make it up, the
Mm-hmm.
self doubt. It has absolutely been projected on us. And I feel like mastering it has been part of our survival in an anti Black world. And now, very much like you said, is the time to be heard first, because it ripples out everywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
we deserve that.
Yes. Yes. I can feel that. I was telling I think I was telling Jessica this morning. So we're moving, and so I'm trying to figure out schools. I'm touring schools for my daughter, and like I said previously before this recording, the diversity of where we're about to go move to is not there, and that is the main concern. But the schools are very open and free. They're nature based programs. It's Montessori curriculum. They teach herbalism and gardening, and they are very aware and conscious of the land that we're occupying, the indigenous people that were there before. But for some reason there was still self-doubt, like, are we going to be good enough? Like, are they going to want us because we're Black? Maybe they just want to keep their school white and pure. And so that's like playing in my mind. I'm like, why are these negative thoughts? I'm like, do they want my child? Like, will she behave enough? Like, sometimes she acts, hyper. Like, maybe that won't fit their mold of what they want. And I'm like, why are these thoughts in my mind? Like, and then this weekend, I got two emails back to back from one of the school's administrators. Like, before I had even answered her, she's emailing me like, well, we'll give you this, like giving me more information of like, we really want you guys, come. And I'm just like, oh, whoa. Now the tables have turned. Like, now it's being shown, like, we have to see, is this a good fit for us? This is a privilege for me and my children to be in your presence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me stop acting like we are not special. Let me stop acting like we are not gonna bless you with our presence.
I know that's right.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's a definite reframe. It's a definite reframe and realization. It really is.
Ongoing.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, but let's get on to what we're actually here to talk about, which is Sarah's book. Oh my goodness. You said that you're proud of yourself. It's like, this is like, I feel like I'm so humbled. Sarah sent us excerpts from her new book, and I just, I'm like you said, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm just happy to be here. But like, no, thank you. Thank you for thinking of us. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
valuing our what we have to say,
Yeah.
and just opening yourself up in that way to us is just very, very special. And so I just feel so grateful to have this opportunity. So,
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for
Same.
spending time with it.
yes, yes, yes. I know when you said excerpts, I thought it was gonna be like just like a couple paragraphs. When you said, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. Wow. So we definitely took the time, and I'm so grateful, so grateful. But yeah, do you want to share what's your most your favorite, or what stuck out to you, Jessica? I have so much highlighted, so
I
I
have a lot. I have a lot. And my, like, I want to go straight to the end,
okay.
but
We're gonna go out of order probably because
I,
Love it.
yeah.
okay, I guess we can do that.
Yeah, love that. No other way.
Personally, what touched me, where, like, I was reading your book and the excerpt, and I finished it, and I just, for about an hour, I was just sitting down saying, wow, wow. Like, over and over, like with a pause, my son was like, Mom, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm processing, Jaden. I'm processing. Just give me a moment, okay? I don't know how long it's going to take, but, and even now. And it's because I told Ilissa, like, as I was reading this, right, reading the first part of the excerpt, which is the story, um, that was one thing. Then going through your accounts of your personal life, I did not have these accounts myself, but I share in these emotions that you have felt. You're putting words to my own emotions. And I think that is what is so magical about this. I am not delusional in the way that I don't believe that I'm the only person who has felt the feelings that I have felt before. And so, yes, I'm reading your account of your life. Yes, I'm reading your words, but I'm feeling like I'm able to express myself through your work as well. And so you say at the very end of this excerpt, there's a reason ancestral shadows appear so clearly defined and up close to me, and mandate for the sacred work needed for me to see clearly what's mine and what's not. The days ahead require sober sight. I am here to redirect the light. I clear my throat so I don't cry, okay? Because you also mentioned about, like, you're talking about how you've had to find meaning for your life, like find a reason to stay here. And I have felt the same, as open and honest, knowing that family is likely going to be watching this episode. Um, and I felt the same, where it's just that was a result of different things that happened where I didn't feel wanted, needed, couldn't figure out, like, like it felt more of an annoyance than anything. Um, and so now I can say that I found myself, and I'm continuing to find myself, and I'm realizing like who I am, and now, okay, which direction I'm headed in, and knowing that the directions change. And so that last part, the days ahead require sober sight, because I was running away for a long time. I'm here to redirect the light. I was like, what? I'm like, yes, this is it. And I not only felt a celebration for myself, but a celebration for you. I'm like, I cannot wait to read the entire book, and I cannot wait to see what happens from here. Because this is a turning point. You releasing this is a turning point. I know that me reading this is also a turning point. I don't know what's going to happen in my life now that I've read these words. Um, and of course, I'm definitely gonna read the book once it comes out. But that's the first point that I want to share. That ending, it feels like the Olympic gold. Like, we got the Olympic gold. What are we gonna do next?
Thank you. Oh wow, that is so special. That's so special to me now. That's so special to that little girl that chapter is about. Um, I that was one of the last pieces that I wrote. I very much wanted to speak to age 8, Sarah at age 8. And I may have even said this the last time, I've long had theories around specifically Black girlhood, but I would assume Black childhood, age 8. Like, there's some pivotal shit going on there. And so I wanted to name that and honor her, and also, yeah, play with, and I guess take charge of my new understanding that, oh, I get to decide what all this shit means. I get to be honest about what I thought it meant, and I get to be honest about what I'm saying it means now, and that's what matters the most. So it's just really affirming to know that being so specific and so vulnerable is still so, I think, universal, and allows you to see and celebrate yourself as well. I'm very much like, oh, I am the Black woman that little girl was like, when, I want to be her. I am her for
Yes,
real.
yes.
So
Wow.
thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for that.
Yes. Yes. Well, and just to go back to obviously we don't know how the book is going to be constructed, but we're just reading it like we're referencing and how, how you sent it to us. And so just how it's written, all of this writing styles that you included to me is just
Mm-hmm.
like, what? I just I love it.
Yeah.
And well, Jessica was saying with the fiction story, how you included the written Gullah Geechee language. Jessica was like, this language sounds like Jamaican patois. Like when we're reading it to ourselves, like Jessica is Jamaican. My family is from the Caribbean also. And so we understand it. We're like, thank God we understand it so we can read
Oh,
it
I
how it's
love that.
supposed to sound. And just the preservation of that is just thank you. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a big deal for myself to do that. Both my parents were part of the translation team that translated the New Testament of the Bible to Gullah. It was a 25-year venture, so they were part of the earlier leg. But yeah, I wanted it to be in our voice, and I wanted it to have the historical accuracy as well. And the short
Mhm.
stories were part of my creative thesis, where I was exploring Afrofuturism as a path to healing Black women's epigenetic trauma. And I was like, how can I illustrate these ideas that I'm playing around with? And instead of, it felt too daunting to write like one novel or one piece about one woman. And so I was like, I'm gonna write 3 short pieces about 3 different Black women across time and see if folks can follow them. So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that. And I just love how you when you were saying that you were a historical guide on the plantation, people were mad because of you how you interpreted what was going on. Like it was you were able to speak to the specific violence and the trauma and the evilness,
Mm-hmm.
and how you write is so like you clearly write that way too. Like this is what is happening.
I
It's
love
no
that.
sugarcoating at all. And I'm like, how does she do that? How do you bring that out? I feel like I've been trained to just water down, water down, water down. How do you bring that out?
Um, I love that question. I think it has a lot to do with my parents, both like just validating what I've had to say. Certainly, teaching me to respect my elders, but very much engaging me as a person,
Mm-hmm.
like a person the whole time with thoughts that were worthy of paying attention to. That even sometimes, like I look back, like wow, y'all were so patient. Because what, what could I have been talking about?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that has certainly gone such a long way. And then my mom is also specifically, she's very matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
and she might dip into pretending she's something else sometimes too, but she's very matter of fact, no nonsense. This is what it is. And I think, yeah, I've just taken it a little further and a little sharper, because I'm like, y'all can't keep playing with us, and you're not
No,
gonna play with me.
no,
And I think that's
no. Yeah.
I'm constantly, I have to go back and forth of reminding myself that we are tapped into something much greater than these systems of oppression. And also, it's still scary.
Mm-hmm.
It's still scary. It's
Mm-hmm.
still, I still don't know all the time. And I'm like, if I can't do nothing else, I'm gonna say I see y'all. Like I
Mm.
see you. You're not gonna
Yes.
bullshit me, and it's gonna be a
Yes.
record that I saw. I peeped this shit, and it's wild.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's very important to me. So thank you for saying it like that.
You know, this is
Yes.
right
Yes.
on
And you're
time.
so funny because you're like, oh yeah, Melanoma Sylvie, he's so matter of fact. I'm like, so is she. Yeah, but that's not what this is about. What this is about is how I want to live. I'm like, girl, I was
Oh
cracking up
man.
reading too.
Oh, I
So
love that.
yes, yes, yes. But one of the questions that you ask. It's you said based on this indigenous perspective, we are called to name and explore our trauma. Who or what is causing this? What is being revealed? What lesson can I perceive that can potentially propel me towards my purpose? How can I interpret this pain? What generational gifts can I uncover once I reframe the layers and layers of trauma? What does my highest self know that I can intentionally integrate in the present? What do I need? How might I show myself the grace every child is worthy of? I'm like, oh my goodness. This right here, if you just ask yourself these questions every single day when you wake up in the morning, you'll be a whole new person every day.
Every day.
Mm.
I'm like, I'm going to integrate this into my daily practice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
They were such earnest questions. I feel like they continue to be, and I'm so excited for this season of the work being shared to have some things reflected back to me, because I remember when I wrote that piece in particular, that's when I was knowing that I needed to leave the doctorate program. And
Okay.
I was so, again, like, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, I'm just like, I've been answering those questions for myself, and I've been seeking the answers ancestrally in this time. And there was so much grief and pain when I was writing that. And in that time in 2021, when again the world was falling apart and I was realizing that what I thought was going to be my journey was not going to be my journey. And so to be here
Mm-hmm.
now with so much more grace for myself, finally, I'm just newly, this is my first, I can tell you, this is my first graduation season that I didn't feel bad.
Oh.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, girl, you done changed. You done grew up. Like, it was the first time I was just like, oh, that's so wonderful. And I didn't have the twinge of like, I was supposed to be doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so to hear some of those questions now, it's like, yeah, I really have been seeking and finding reasons and understanding. And I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful that those reflections offer reflection points for other people, because yeah, even more so than my matter of factness being like, I see y'all and I want you to know I see y'all, is for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Yeah.
that we see,
Right.
and what we will do when we see, when we
Mm-hmm.
know, is again so far greater.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we actually, Alyssa and I were talking about last night. We were discussing about, how matter of fact you are. And she was like, if she didn't call it out, we wouldn't even know what this even looks like. We wouldn't know what microaggression looks like. We wouldn't know, like you have to have someone who shows you, hey, look at what they're doing, because we can just gloss over and just be like, la la la, just
Mm-hmm.
be in the
Mm-hmm.
delusion that is unsafe. And then wonder, once we get hurt, be like, wait, what happened? I didn't see that coming. So it's absolutely necessary. And that's something that I'm working on myself, is to stop the hedging, is to, speak in a way that is like, what are you really trying to say? Say that, and don't worry about the way that it's going to come across to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to bring up in your fictional story here,
Mm-hmm.
you you do a fabulous job of writing about how, as Black women, we're not only protecting ourselves against society, we're also protecting ourselves from the men that and other people who are trying to hurt us. So it's like, you know, we have we have to live and protect ourselves from so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I've never seen that written down before, because that is
Mm-hmm.
exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. So
Mm-hmm.
true.
Or other Black women specifically too, like she was
Yes.
saying.
That's
Mhm.
Alice Wine. Is that piece?
Yes, yes, Alice
Yes.
Wine.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for saying that. Alice Wine is actually a real person, and I remember attending a history conference where this scholar was saying basically there's this man named Esau Jenkins, and he was really pivotal in getting Gullah Geechee people on Johns Island to register to vote.
Mhm.
And he had this bus that would take them to work and into town, and on the bus they would learn to like read the Constitution, because that was some of the wild shit that they had to do to register to vote.
Oh,
But
wow.
years later, when Esau Jenkins, who was this celebrated, activist, community activist, was asked like, what inspired you, what motivated you to do this work, he said it was Alice Wine, and that she was this older black woman. I don't even remember how old she was at the time, but she told him like, if you can teach me how to read, I will get registered to vote. And she was so empowered, and she got so many other people in the community registered to vote. And she talked about remembering when her mother and aunts would be at the election. And Alice Wine, I want to say, was born in like 1890. And so it was like, what elections were her were
Yeah.
were black women at that she remembers. And
Yes.
so doing more research, I was able to find, the ways that free women were very active in electoral politics. Even though we didn't have the right to vote, we were showing
Mm-hmm.
up at the polls like, this what you gonna do.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
yeah, it just sounded very time travel-y and
Mhm.
nonlinear to me. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to honor her, and then to the point about the matter of factness of the things that Black women experience. I was very much thinking of Tony K. Bombara, particularly in The Salt Eaters,
Mm-hmm.
which is an incredibly beautiful, nonlinear novel about this Black woman who's healing from this great, great trauma. And I just remember this section in the book about these Black women activists at this meeting, and the women are doing all the work and the men are taking all the credit. And she just writes about it so plain, like, you know how it is when you sacrificing your whole life. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like a
Mm-hmm.
segment like the main character is on her period and she don't have no products, and she got to ball up some cardboard, and the men up there with their suits just talking about all the shit that the women gonna have to do. And I just loved that. So I very much was like, I want to speak to that that nuance and that challenge and that reality that we so many of us are experiencing in a patriarchal society. Of course that's what we're navigating. And also,
Mm-hmm.
what is it to give it name, to look at it
Mm-hmm.
and be like, okay, well, if this is what we're saying we're doing, do we want to do this? Is there a way to do a
Mhm.
different thing?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
thank you. I love that reads that way.
Yeah.
Yes. You are the
Yes.
perfect person for this to come through because yeah. I don't even have to finish that sentence. Really and truly. That's I read that and I was just that was one of my own revelations. Was that like we really do have to and have had to. All of our mothers have had to really work hard on protecting ourselves and just like I have been in a season where I have had to just go within and stay within. And I'm like, what is this? Why? And then I realized I'm like, okay, it's just that time because everybody else was had to go out. Nobody, I don't know who else in the timeline, the history of women in my family who have been as fortunate as to be in the position that I am in now, where I don't have to. I'm doing because I want to.
Mm. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, that leads me to another excerpt that says, regardless of violence that persists, Sarah writes, I must continue rewriting slash writing the past from vantage points of the present, to envision and articulate the stories of our ancestors and our past lives with humanity, divinity, and compassion. In doing so, we see our presence as the future manifestations of their efforts. With these examples, we can confidently continue our legacy of building futures for our descendants and livable presence for ourselves. This is the healing work. That is so beautiful. That is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all got me. For real.
This
Thank you.
I want this to just be like reverence, and people's lives will be changed. We you will have no other choice but to have to experience transformation when you read this book.
Mm.
And we
Yeah.
haven't even read the book.
I
Right.
can't wait
Hello.
for y'all to read it. I'm so
That's
excited for y'all to
that's
read
the
it
thing. We have
now.
not read the book.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love the way it's taken shape, the order that you find the things. I'm
And
so excited for that.
I just got to point out the fact, as I'm reading this, and I'm like, I'm reading about this dog that you have in the story that's chasing. I think his name was Leon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, in one of your, I've lost track of where exactly you've stated this, but it's outside of the story, further into the excerpt, where you say that dog was Inez that was chasing him. You said she came back in another lifetime, not as a person, but as the dog that chased him
Mm.
down,
Mhm.
which then got him
Mhm.
killed. I said, okay,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
I look what we're
Wow.
recording, so let me put this into words. Um there are so many women who just want to get back at their abusers and they can't.
Mm.
You said, "Oh no, it's not too late." You thought death was going to stop that? No, you are eternal. Go and turn to that dog and go get him. Go get what you needed to get. Like, I was like, okay. So there, that also for me, the whole thing of ancestral healing, of I myself have said, like, I'm going through something because it's happened to my grandmother and my mother's mother's mother, and because they didn't get to heal this portion of their life, so now I have to be the one to heal it. You changed that around. You said, no, they could still heal it. They could
Mm.
still do it. They still doing it right now.
Mhm.
Oh man.
just wait for the moment.
Mhm.
As sad as that was. And so the what is it, the duplicity, I guess is the word, between, like, I'll divulge a bit more of the story. So Leon is a black male who was shot by a white man. Did not, of course, the racial crime was not okay. And yes, saddened because he lost his life at the hands, we all know what that looks like, what that feels like. But then to go on and say, but this was Leon's karma. I said, oh shoot. Oh shoot. So, which it makes it so much more, I want to say humanizes it, because I feel like we nothing is ever black and white.
Mm-mm.
Nothing is ever just clear. So it's, yes, this man lost his life. Yes, he's a black man who lost his life at the hands of a white man. Yes, that is not okay. However, it was not okay for him to be abusing women. It was not okay for him to have done this and this and, that and the other. And it's just like, so you feel like, wait, so am I happy that he got taken out, or am I sad because the way that it went? And so that's how life is. Like, we don't we don't know the karma that people have racked up. We don't know what is the result of what in this
Mhm.
lifetime. It is not okay. Still, the act of racial violence is not okay. But, you know you just beautifully wrapped that all in, and I'm like, man, I wish I could tell a story like this. Like, that was
Wow.
gorgeous. Like, took me on that journey.
Thank you so much. The wow. Um I'm not sure if it was in the excerpt I shared, but in the actual historical facts that happened, there was a black man on the island who was shot by a white man, and the white man said it had to do with his dog. And, you know, that was what it was. I can't even say what brought me into telling that story, but I also very much wanted to speak about how the community knew that he was violent.
Mm.
And so even thinking not even so much as karma, but putting that in conversation with the reality that Malidoma teaches about, that it's like, if we all love each other, we're not going to let someone suffer, and we're not just going to let someone cause harm.
Yes.
And
Right.
so even, you know, a community surviving Jim Crow, which is harsh and violent, and you do the best you can to survive. It's also like, who's accountable for this? Who's accountable for this violence that we know is happening, that we allow to perpetuate, that we I say all the time, like, if white people just disappeared, like if we woke up tomorrow and the white people was gone, it's not like we would just be safe,
No. Absolutely
unfortunately.
right.
And that's what I'm most concerned about, you know, when I think about who I have expectations of, when I think of who I'm responsible to and for, when I think about my love of black people, I'm like, how are we going to be together? And we need to be honest about bullshit that we've allowed to perpetuate, perhaps because we thought it was the only choice. Like,
Yeah.
but we got to know that it's more choices now if we want something different for ourselves and for our descendants, if we want our ancestors to experiencing something different or even do something different. And so,
Yes.
yeah, I very much wanted the time traveling black women to show up very matter of factly, like, you know, I wasn't necessarily here for you to get shot, but I was going to see about you.
Yes.
I was going to see about you for the
Yes.
shit that you've been doing.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
You're absolutely right. How are we bringing accountability to our communities, and not being so individualistic, um taking care of one another, caring for the other? Do we have protocols? What, I don't know about them, that's just them over there, I'm just gonna stay out of it. And that is the other, to revisit the conversation about going to visit schools for my daughter, and wanting there to be more diversity. That is the other side of the coin. If we were to move to, this is going to be very controversial, if we were to move to another area that was predominantly black, we would be having different conversations about things that we would be worried about, as far as our daughter and the things that she would be introduced to. Because there is, there's another side of things. When you grow up around these white people, then you got to worry about this. You grow up around these black people, then you got to worry about this. So it's, where is the safety? Where is the community? Where is the accountability? So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
That fills my heart with so much pain. So much pain. My heart is heavy for our people because I feel like I want to change, like I want to save everybody. I want to change everything and everyone. And I just don't know how to. And so that's where it does make it easy to say, yeah, I see those markings on her neck, but that's just their household.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I know this happened to her the other day with him, but
Yeah.
that's their household. What can I do about it?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's very, very learned. And I think it's uncomfortable to practice a different thing because
Hmm.
we have gotten ideas about privacy and a nuclear family, and
Hmm.
just as black people,
mhm.
we have been surviving an absurd scenario. We've
Yeah.
been
Hmm.
surviving an absurd scenario. And also, yeah, what does it look to put a different type of community into practice?
Hmm.
Like, personally, starting with the personal. And I don't even have all the, like, I know how to do it, as much as I imagine it, as much as I want to create space for all of us to imagine a new thing, to try to be different, as much as I believe that patriarchy is not biological. It's not in anybody's blood. It doesn't have anything to do with a body part. And
Mhm.
how can we create a different thing for ourselves and each other? And first we have to name, and I'm certainly not the first to name, but follow, following in the tradition of naming. Oh, this is violent. This is not love. This is not how
Mhm.
we be together. This is not
Mhm.
how we survive violent systems. This is not freedom.
Yes.
Mhm. You are so right.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
so right because our minds get twisted to say,
Mhm.
well, this happened before over there, so I think that if she could put up with it or if he could put up with that, then we can
Mhm.
too, right? It's okay.
Yeah.
But then
Hmm.
that's where the Somays come in and they're like, well, no, you know what? In the Dagara tribe, we actually have communities for these things and we help you.
Right.
I'm
I
like,
know. I
I'm like,
know.
man, can we just start? Can we all join the Dagara tribe,
But
please?
and that's why I wanted to point out those questions too that you ask yourself, because you can get answers asking yourself those questions.
Hmm.
What does my highest self know?
Hmm.
What can my highest self tell me right now to help me with this present moment? Um, I've been using I've been using it since I read it because I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But um I wanted to point out too the other writing style that you included, of like including your journal entries. Oh my goodness, I love that. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's how I write in my journal. Like 2 words, a 3 word sentence is a complete thought. I love it, and I can't believe that you included that. I'm just like, she's just so open and so vulnerable. I love the vulnerability, and
Yes, yes.
to share that with the world is very special. And it really gives a picture, a very very beautiful picture of what was going on. And oh my goodness, I just love it. And the mantras that you have for yourself too is like, what can we do? I love that you ask, like, what needs to be done when in order to deprogram, or if we have to live into these systems, what needs to happen when we come home every day? Like, I need to talk to myself in my own language. And I just love that. I love that I created for my husband for his birthday a plaque. I mean, I would hope that they're intrinsic to him. I created them and gave it to him, but a plaque with mantras on them for him to read to himself, so that he remembers who he is, and that he knows where he's coming from when he's stepping into the rooms that he's stepping in. The systems that he's operating in are very but he's strong. He's strong. He is I don't know if I shared with you, he's an orthopedic spine surgeon.
Oh no.
Yes. He's the only black man in most of the things that he in the whole hospital sometimes,
Hmm.
let alone in the room.
That's
Um,
so specific.
yes.
That's a specific
Yes.
set of skills. Yeah.
Yes, it's very specific. Like, we lived in Indiana for his medical school. We were in Arizona for residency. We were here in Tampa for a year for his fellowship training. And he's been in situations where he walk into the room to introduce himself, and people are like, "Oh, you're here to take the trash?
Mm.
You're here to move the
Hmm.
bed?" I'm like, "No, I'm your doctor."
Right. Mm.
Um, and so we're about to move into an area where that we know
Hmm.
who they support. There might be issues. So I created mantras for him to read to himself before he goes and when he comes back, so he knows, like, he is doing spiritual energetic work. Yes, he is a spine surgeon, but your energy, your spirit, what you're doing with these people, you're healing them on another level. And you need to know that.
Hmm.
So I'm glad you included that because I'm like, yes, that just affirmed what I
I love
know.
that. I love that. Yes, affirm what you know. That's so necessary. And I remember this wasn't in either of his books, but I watched this talk from Malidoma Somé called The Blessing of Betrayal. You can look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
One of my favorites. But he talks about, I think it's that talk. He talks about the birth of the talisman. And he's basically like, we were not created to experience the onslaught of violence that colonialism brought, that violent whiteness brought. The ancestors was like, we wasn't made for that. And so there needs to be some kind of energetic amulet that you carry on you that absorbs the energy, so it keeps it from coming to you, and you dispose of it and do what you need to do with it. So I think in various African and indigenous traditions, there are gree or mojo bags, similar things. But I very much I wanted to create, I wanted the work to feel like that. I wanted the work to be like a medicine, like a talisman, and if not the work itself, then to empower you to do your own, to create your own, to recognize that, yeah, our ancestors said we wasn't meant to experience the onslaught of violence.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't created to do that. And so what is the energetic work with great intention that is required of us each and every day? So I love that too. Thank you. I
Yeah.
just love everything. Thank y'all so much for reading the work. Thanks.
Yes. Yes, of course. We love you and we loved it too. Was there anything else, Jessica, that you want? I mean, I still have so many things highlighted, but we've touched on most of it. Um
The key points. Yeah, I mean, I, reading your birth story that you included here, coming out breech and, or you not even coming out, girl,
well,
being
you know what my
cut,
mom says, coming
cut
out
out.
with the world to kiss my ass. My mom was born that way too. She's like, I came out telling the world to kiss my ass.
It's giving.
Yes, yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's what it is.
Hmm. I'm like, look, we can't expect anything less than what you have allowed yourself to create here. Your parents have primed you for it. You mentioned that you had a shared journal with them, which is something that Alyssa and
Yes.
I are planning on doing with our kids. I mean,
Yes.
mine are older, but I'm like, it's never too late, right?
It's never too
Um,
late.
No, yes. I
so I'm
love it.
gonna definitely have to do that with my daughter because man, she had an emotional weekend.
Mm.
She's a Scorpio moon, and it's a
Oh,
Scorpio full moon today.
right.
Now I'm like, oh wait, I
She's
get it.
feeling the things. Yeah.
Because I was like, what is going on? And I'm like, I'm trying to support you without making you feel bad for what you're feeling, but now you're pissing me off. So I'm like, trying to remain fluid. But anyway, um, yeah, you have been, I guess, primed to be exactly who you are, and um, I
Well,
want to
and then
say
before you say that, the words from the book, you said that your mother says that they say that you've been here before. Now they think that
yes,
you're from the future.
yes,
Gosh,
yes.
yes. Yes. We can say that in reference to both of our children, because my child, she came here looking you up and down. She definitely has been here. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, now I know Alina's from the future because she got a lot to say.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I believe it. I always say these new kids are special. Like these these kids that are coming up now are here to do something very, very significant and anchor in some very new shit. And I just have so much admiration for parents, for people raising human beings, because it's so hard to even have yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, so much admiration. I always tell my friend Jada, it's like a different type of patience. And I feel like malleability. I often, though I'm not a parent, am in relationship with many parents, love many children, and compare parenting to ethical non-monogamy,
Mm.
just in the sense of like if you opt into it with your tender heart, you're gonna have like accelerated growth. And I think one of the things I've noticed are the correlations is like you have this mirror that really brings you up with reflecting different aspects of yourself to you, different versions of yourself to you, as well as the reality that this person that you love might get on your nerves sometimes. And also what you understood that they need right now might not be what they need later. And like all of that is such rigorous human being.
Can I add to this whole mirror thing? Let me tell you about this yesterday. We on the highway, right? My son's 16. Okay. We're on the highway and there's a cop and I'm like, dang it, why does there have to be a cop right here right now? Like, I'm just trying to go. My son, he starts sounding frustrated and I'm like, I instantly be quiet because I'm like, oh, what's wrong? He's like, man, I hate following the rules. Who cares that they put laws out there to keep us safe? I don't like following the rules. I want to break the rules all the time. Yeah, I don't care that the cop is there to make sure that we don't get into car accidents and that's out there to help us if we do get into a car accident. And I was like,
what's going on here?
Right.
I'm like, no, that's not. I was like, that's not what I meant.
Right.
Of course,
Oof.
I want to follow the rules, which you should do when you start driving. I'm like, oh my God.
Ooh-wee. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yes. A mess. So I gotta make sure I follow the rules and not complain about them being.
Look, it's to you for opting in. For real. You could not, you know.
True. Yes. Oh, I wanted to read this. This is the last one. This is from your personal entries, January 27th, 2020. My pleasure is key, obviously. The system depends on me not knowing who I am, depends on me being unsure of what I know and how I know it. It needs me to believe my folks ain't made a place for me outside of hell. It needs me to feed it. It needs my energy, my sacrifice, my body. Needs me to believe I can use their tools and play their game. Needs me to believe I should model myself after them. Show and prove myself worthy to be here. Prove and prove and prove and prove myself to an absence. A gap, only visible via my light. Oh, what if I truly saw myself as the root and the reflection of the presence of the whole, light and shadow, integrated mind, body, soul, spirit integrated, pleasure prioritized, giving rise to creation. And ain't that it? I think so. The system thrives on making me believe I don't know. When I know, it crumbles, it wanes. It has to. I see that now in this moment. I see that now in this moment. Thankfully, thank you. My goodness.
Thank you.
That needs to be like up on a wall to read. We need to have it on the fridge. Every time we come to the kitchen, we see, oh, the system needs me. Okay, right. So now I'm gonna be who I am because I'm not feeding this beast anymore.
Ashe.
So good.
Ashe. Wow. Thank you for reflecting that back. And you said I wrote it in 2020. That's when that entry is.
Yeah. Yes.
It's very much like you be channeling things for you to come back to at another time. And
I was looking at the dates. I'm like, oh yes.
Yeah, because I'm like, I was going through it. Everybody was going through it in 2020. But I'm even thinking about the time that I know I wrote that piece, which incorporated all the journal entries. And it was that time I was leaving. I had realized all those things about the academy. In particular, like I had gone in with this desire, I'm going to go in and I'm going to bridge the gap. I'm going to bridge the gap between the academy and the community. I'm going to make it accessible. And I got in there and I was like, oh, this bitch is the gap. Like the academy is the gap. The academy is the absence and they sucking me dry. And And it was
Yes.
really like, oh, I see it so clearly. I see it so clearly. And so that's a trip that I named that in 2020, because I can't even remember exactly what I was talking about in terms of how I knew it so clearly then. But in 2021, I was like, I'm going to validate myself as canon, because clearly I came in here unsure that I could, be with y'all because y'all are so smart. And no, y'all are not. No, y'all are not so smart. And if this is what the canon offers us, if this is what this foundational canon, if this is what the classics offer us, it's whack, y'all. Like we must honor ourselves and our ancestors as canon, and not the white man's stories, because they can't even be honest about themselves.
No.
All of the projections, it's like we've just internalized their projections, their insecurity. They've cast it upon, which is just what patriarchy is. It just casts upon their own insecurities on everybody else. This myth of superiority that doesn't allow for us to recognize all of our wholeness and our divinity and our humanity and the fullness of our feelings. And it's hard. And because of that, our feelings do be feeling like they're going to kill us. Like, oh, if I actually let myself feel this shit that I've been running from, I'm probably going to die. But you're not going to die. This shit is going to kill us.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We
Thank
deserve.
you for saying that.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Right here.
Was there anything else, Jessica, before we?
There's a lot.
I mean, I know. Well, is there?
We've been on this. So
What else? Is there something that you wanted to add, Sarah, or wanted people to know? Or
I love what y'all brought forth in terms of the things that were significant to you. I don't even think I would have said. I want everybody to know all these things about the book, except everything y'all said is what I want people to know. I want people to know that I binge genres, and I want people to know it's non-linear, and I want people to know that it is very tender and it is matter of fact, and my desire was for it to be accessible. And also, I think, Jessica, you might have said this before we started recording, but I accept that you gotta, in that same book, that same Tony K. Bombara, the Salt Eaters book, the first line is like, are you sure, sweetheart, that you're ready to be well? Because being well is no trifling matter. Like it ain't just whatever. And that might not be the direct quote, but that's the sentiment. And I want to acknowledge my work as that. And so I appreciate you saying you had to be like, okay, am I ready to get into this? Yes, I am ready to get into this, because I want people to get into it at their pace, and I want us to pool our strength and resources at this time, with the urgency. Not the urgency that's manufactured, the urgency that is honest, based on our understanding that this world is ending and we must imagine and rebuild something else, that we deserve that. And
yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
that's beautiful.
Thank
That's beautiful.
you. Thank you so much for coming back and having this conversation with us. So needed, so heartwarming and filled, and I want to keep having more conversations. I'm like, can you come back again? Because we just love
Oh,
it.
I will totally come back again when the book come out. Let's do it again.
Yes.
Invite me back anytime. I enjoy talking with y'all, and I'm just proud of y'all for showing up in your purposes and your work, mothering your children and yourselves. It is big work. So thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your platform.
Oh, thank you. Oh, Sarah, share your social media and where people can find you.
You can find me at Sarah Makeba on Instagram and Threads. My website is sarahmakeba.com, where you can go and pre-order my book, Sankofa Shadow Work, Diaries of a Diasporic Diviner. That will be published somewhere between now and June. And I'm so excited for it to be out in the world. So yeah, hit me up.
Yay. Yes. And please follow us if you're not already at Keep Expecting Miracles Pod on Instagram. Watch us on YouTube. Share. Like Sarah said, go purchase her book, buy a couple and give them out.
Yes.
So we can get
Yes.
ready. We can get ready. But
Mhm.
thank you guys for listening. Until next time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.